Market Peak with Seth and Matt.
Hey everybody, this is Seth and Matt with Market Peak, P-E-E-K, and this is Sunday, March 26th. Please, before we get started, go ahead and subscribe, like. If you want to wait a little bit, just see how cool we are. We get it. We understand. On Sundays, we prepare for Monday, and we're going to be talking about what to expect in the week ahead. Also, some stocks that we expect to rebound. Not necessarily just this week, but we do expect a bit of a bounce for these specific stocks. We're going to make our predictions, of course. And once again, we got to say it every show, we are not financial advisors. None of this is official advice. Do your research or D squared. Talk to your professionals. Please share your comments, your thoughts. We'd really appreciate it. And share the show. We get a lot of shares. Once again, we're a newer show. It really does help. That is for sure. So how's it going, Matt? All good?
Good, man. Good.
How's your Saturday? We record our Sunday shows on Saturday. How's your Saturday?
Not as good as yours is going, apparently. Is that, what are you drinking there? Some wine?
Yes, this is Ruinart Blanc de Blanc champagne.
Ooh, one of my favorites.
It is.
One with Krug Cuvée.
Well, it's
micro bubbles.
Yeah, it's a very, very small, well, you could say the bubbles or the foam, or the effervescence. Yeah, it's small bubbles. I happen to be a certified sommelier. As a quick sidebar, Sunday shows, which record Saturday nights, we go off the cuff a little bit. But I am a certified sommelier. I know a little bit about this stuff. One of the main differences that separates a quality champagne from even stuff that's injected is how small the bubbles are. You get to think about drinking like soda water and how big the bubbles are and just how obnoxious they are. And sometimes they're so big that they, they're just really uncomfortable. But when you get a really small, fine bubble or effervescence in a champagne, that's one of the ways you can tell a good one from an average one or even a crappy one like Cava and stuff like that, or even Prosecco. I hate to say it. There's worse stuff out there than that, though. But it's interesting you mentioned...
Cava is still method
traditional method, yeah, right? Method traditional. It is, but still the bubbles are kind of big. Franciacorta,
kind of abrasive.
Yeah, Franciacorta,
actually,
out of Italy is another one where they do the traditional method. But it's interesting you mentioned Ruinart and Krug because my wife's two favorite champagnes are Ruinart and Krug, and it's funny because when I popped this open, I poured her a glass and I was like, "So what is it?" And she's like, I don't know. I was like, it's not Krug. She's like, I know it's kind of like Ruinart, but she didn't think I would, be buying this. And so she hit the nail right on the head. I have to give her credit for that. That's for sure.
That Blanc de Blanc, that mouth texture,
so good.
It's fuzziness, delivered by, there's fine bubbles. It's just, honestly, for the price.
Yeah, $75
I prefer
for the Blanc de Blanc.
That, over Krug.
For the price, sure, because Krug is, 3 times the price.
$250, yeah.
But what's cool, it's just got a little bit of sugar, which is why Elena likes it, which is fine. So, it really would fit any type of palate. That's for sure. Anyway, we digress. So, all right. So, we're going to go ahead and jump into GameStop. It's been a really, really interesting week. GameStop, as you might have noticed on Thursday, popped for like 52%. And then I think it's like another 3 or 4 posts. And then today, as you can see, yesterday dropped a little bit and then today is a little bit flat. So, but anyway, it had a really, really interesting week. You can see the pop over here. Actually, let me get out the 5-day. So there you go. It was pretty big and then it settled down a bit. And that's when it was at 117. Like it went from 116 and then all of a sudden just jumped up in a matter of 2 days to 209. Seems to have settled down like the 179 area. So please, what are your thoughts?
179 area.
179.98.
We're just bouncing up and down within this range. What's going to interest me is when we begin to see some price compression and we start kind of, building out real channel support. But right now, it's a wild ride.
I gotta say, the 175, 170, 175 area, 170 actually seems to be a pretty big area of support going all the way back to the 8th of March. We're not going back too far, but, more recently, it seems to be a pretty good spot.
Yeah, so I do think we're building out some sort of structure here. But again, due to the short squeeze factor, it's hard to really, kind of like put your foot down on any one line of support. But I mean, that's also something you can really only judge in retrospect, in hindsight.
Sure.
So, I mean, you could be right.
Let's see. Short volume ratio right now is 27% for GME. It's still pretty
historically low.
It's still pretty significant, though. I mean, you're like, oh yeah, it's only 20, but it's still a pretty big number.
Only 27%.
Yeah, exactly.
Only a third of the shares.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing. So we'll go ahead and bring it up. Here's the YOLO update. DMV, or DFV. Sorry, DMV. I'm thinking
this
about.
This is some epic loss,
dude.
Porn.
So yeah, deep fucking value. Let's just fucking say it. Might as well. We're here. It's Sunday. I'm drinking champagne. But yeah, you can see some major loss porn going on. And this was on the 23rd. And what's amazing...
A bit of negative carry on those options.
And you know what? What's amazing about it, he's like, I'm still in. I'm still in, you guys. Don't even worry
He is
about
a legend. I mean, to be fair, I'm inspired by him. I think most retail investors are. And who's to say that he hasn't already made $90 million?
Sure. I'm sure
if he was that convicted.
I'm sure he's made money on the way down as well. Like it's just it'd be really, really difficult to think that he wouldn't be. I mean, he's savvy enough to do so. He might as well. So
what does he and his success?
All right, hold on.
And the odds against him.
So I was showing the 23rd. I was like, I know there's another one. Here we go, March 24th. So this was last Wednesday, a loss of 9.1 million in one day. So, and then the next day is the one we showed over here where he had a loss of 1.9. So over the course of those 2 days alone, he's lost about $11 million. Just saying.
Yeah.
But the fact,
cool 11 mil.
But the fact that he is still holding on, and you can see this call right here is April 16th. It's coming up. It's not that far. So if you think about that, and he's still holding on, people are still going to hold on to this. So what's that? April. Yeah. So we're talking just a few weeks from now. It's not that far, folks. So a few weeks from now. So yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's going to energize people to keep buying, keep staying in it. I'll probably get back in. I sold my GameStop when it was up a little bit yesterday. And if for those of you who missed the Friday show, I sold some Ethereum to get a call on QuantumScape. If you guys are interested or you know of QuantumScape, it was a really good episode. It kind of gives you our thoughts on that. But that being said, I do plan on getting back in. I want to get back in before the 16th because if nothing else, it's going to be an amazing battle. Like seriously, talk about, talk about.
So what do you,
go ahead.
I got to know, when you think about DFB and his success and the odds against him and all his doubters, what does that all symbolize to you right now?
Well, first of all, it's obviously symbolizes, honestly, you think about Ready Player One, right? That movie, like going against like all these, evil forces that are just completely
David
against
versus
you.
Goliath,
yeah, exactly.
Right? That kind of a vibe, maybe. Okay. Now, in that mindset, take that mindset.
Is that what you wanted me to say? Come on, dude, David versus Goliath, bro. Come on, I'm waiting.
Apply it to where we are in the market.
Sure.
And I guess my question is, do you think there's correlation between this David versus Goliath sentiment and these recent moves we're seeing in some of these less fundamental driven stock? Do you think people have been emboldened
of course.
by GameStop's action?
Absolutely.
By the idea that they, as a small account holder, a small time trader, can, as a collective voice, change the direction of a trade?
Sure, if they have
change the trajectory of a company.
If they can find a messiah like deep fucking value,
the sage of Wall Street.
Yeah,
bets.
like if they can find someone like AITX, we've covered AITX and even Shrimp. Let's be honest, but Shrimp, I have to say, is one of the most fundamentally soundly driven of the stocks that everyone's like 10 bagger. We've said it. Like it is, I mean, we like AITX, Blue Sphere, whatever. It has potential. Which of them don't? But Shrimp, like for sure, is one that I would be amazed if it doesn't. Anyway, the guy from CNBC was just at one of the reveals. So anyway, I think like with something like AITX, you have a lot of people that love it. To the moon, we're with you. We're going to do it, this and that. But at the same time, when you're talking about stocks that are that low, there's not a lot of that people can do. They need that one big person to show them the way. And if deep fucking value is going to hold on, after 11 million loss and keep putting it out there and keep showing them, even the institutions, a lot of them see this wave happening and they're jumping on his side. There's institutions out there that are tired of the manipulation, tired of the short squeezing, tired of, the people that they're trying to service getting taken advantage of. And I think they jump on his side also. It's just, I'm curious, man. It's a big battle that's about to happen. We just saw, almost the last two expirations, the battle at $14 for AMC and $200 this month for GameStop, where it's like $200 and like 20 cents, and AMC closed at like 13, like 87, just to freaking toe those lines.
Okay, so there are a lot of people right now holding deep out the money, short dated calls on GME and AMC.
Probably
deep out the money. Do you think we make new all-time highs? Do you think we can gamma squeeze our way there? Do you think now that this trade is in the collective minds of so many retail traders that there won't be some big institutional player stepping on the other side of that trade and trying to
short it more,
crash it?
Well, of course.
Yeah. Like, who's going to win here? Yeah.
I mean, I have to think we're going to win, right? I have to think we're going to win this one. I mean, if DFV keeps posting this stuff, and he posts it because he knows it's going to rally the troops. He knows it. That's the only reason why I'm interested in getting back in, because he's still in it. April 16th, like that's the date. That's the date. The question is a rally it's coming. We all know it's coming. There's no way it doesn't rally. How high it goes, whether it goes to 250, 300, 400. People are talking about 1,000, 10,000. Like, theoretically, it's possible. And if this keeps going and keeps going, eventually it can get there. But April 16th, man, it's going to be interesting to follow. And maybe we should do this every show moving forward. The GME short value number, just to kind of track it and see where it's going, because that's really going to determine how hard of ball they're willing to play. Because if that number starts going to 40%, 50%, they're really
it's going to drive sentiment in the underlying. Like it's going to be a price driver, since so many people are looking at that number as like a sort of a gauge.
Sure.
Which helps them kind of steer their in this case options trades.
Yeah, for sure. The question is, if you see that 50%, obviously there's people that fall on all different quadrants of this answer, but you see it at 50%. Do you think, okay, damn,
kind of buy calls, or do you think time to reverse logic myself and buy puts?
Yeah. Or even on top of that, do you think, screw these guys, we're not going to let them win, we're going to get all in? Or do you think 50%, you know what, I'm not going to try to even play that game? There's so much going on, with this. It's interesting, but it had that major dip after earnings, and there are people that were playing that dip, and you know what? Those people won, and now it's right back to about where support is. So Mondays are Mondays, so it might be, a good time to load up. Maybe just get a out of the money call right off the bat, and take advantage of that volatility. It's possible. Yeah. We'll see. And AMC's in a similar situation. They're a lot less volatile, but they're in a similar situation. They didn't rebound though. GME rebounded 50%. AMC went from like 9 to like 11. So it was a little bit of a rebound, and it's actually down 6.5%, almost 6.4. So it went down a lot more today. That's for sure.
So I guess we could say safely that AMC obviously is one of the largest movie theater chains in the country. The space itself is kind of seeing, the winds of change with companies like Netflix and all these online platforms, entertainment platforms. Do you, in your heart of hearts, think that AMC can make it on their own, given this recent, expansion?
They're going to have to close. They're going to have to close some theaters. There's no way they're going to have to close some theaters. GameStop's closed. Yeah. GameStop's. And because of that,
let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. We know that AMC and GME are kind of sentiment-driven trades right now. We know that people buying them are people around our own age who might care more about story than fundamentals. If AMC starts closing stores and laying off a lot of people, do you think that will be a negative headline driving price downward for this particular type of investor?
Well, they already have. They already have been closing a bunch of stores. Traffic has actually gone up recently. I think it's still down like 7% off of last year. And don't quote me on this. But it's.
But do you think theoretically? Do you think that dynamic exists?
I think so, to a degree. With AMC, with GameStop, I think it's more story driven, nostalgia driven, mooning driven. AMC, I feel like people feel as if once AMC comes back, it has a little bit more fundamentals to back up on. It's still an outing that people partake in. I wish people would jump on it like they are GameStop, obviously, because the upside is insane. But GameStop is just drawing too much attention, AMC, you can play, play the ups, play the downs. But GameStop, if you do it right, you can make a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
That's the champagne talking, folks. All right.
There's small bubbles.
Any last minute thoughts before we move into the 5 stocks we like for a little rebound?
I think GME and AMC continue to be the horse that the market rides for as long as possible.
Sure. We'll see. I mean, April 16th. Mark your calendars, folks. It's going to be...
I also think that as far as fundamentals are concerned, if we do eventually revert back to a fundamentals-driven kind of market, AMC is going to need to be bought out by someone, or else
or a merger.
They're dead.
We could do a merger.
Yeah, a merger.
Sure.
There's something going on between them and Amazon. I think that story.
I did hear that, and I'll tell you what, Netflix. Amazon has the capital and has the balls to do it, but Netflix, dude, all these movies you're putting straight in to TV that you're getting Oscar winning, not just nominated, but you're winning Oscars for. Bro, if you could just let the people into the movie theater to show it for free and make money off of the concessions, you don't even have to charge a whole ton of money for the concessions. It doesn't have to be ridiculous. People are already paying for your service. So if you can make a little bit more money with these movie theaters, just your movies will be free, but you still, I just feel like it's a win-win opportunity for both parties.
Interesting. I like this idea.
Yeah, dude.
Favorite Netflix movie, really quickly. Netflix movie.
Wow.
Netflix original or show.
I will say that Ozarks is definitely a favorite that we're excited to have come back. There was Bird Box I wanted to watch, which broke all the records, but Elena's not into like scary stuff, and I just don't have time to watch TV by myself. So sadly, if she's not into it, I can't watch it. But I will say, so my wife is Russian, and there's a show called Better Than Us, BetterThanUS. It's dubbed. I want to say it might be Hulu, might be Amazon. It's streamable. It is one of the most, and I hate to say this, just like, dude, Russia, man, pretty good fucking show. Like, it is just amazing. And they have it's basically about a future where robots there's this one robot that looks completely freaking human. She starts to get.
I have seen this advertised.
You have seen it?
I know what you're talking about.
You got to see it.
Yeah.
You got to see it. I know we're sidetracking here, folks. It's Sunday. What are we going to tell you? So anyway, moving on. So, all right. So stocks we liked for a rebound, QuantumScape. We talked about it on Friday. If you missed the episode, check it out. It is solid state batteries. They have proprietary technology. Volkswagen's a major investor. Bill Gates, through one of his foundations, is a major investor. It had popped to 100.
Well off all-time highs.
Well off. All-time highs are 131. It jumped within a matter of like a week and a half.
Trading volume still high.
Trading volume is
still
super high.
interest in that space. Still a good long-term play.
Yep, pretty much. And the big thing is, it's right now they're focusing on the EV market, batteries for EV, and EV is just so hot right now. And they just did a share offering, $40 a share, 10.4 million shares, 10.9, something like that. They're expecting to close on Monday. It's trading at like $44 right now. And after those shares, after the release of those shares is wrapped up, that's when they're going to start going up. So that's number one on my list.
So this is a good long duration play for me. We're talking about an ETF comprised of the 50 most, according to Direction, innovative companies. You're talking about companies delivering emerging technologies in spaces like smart transportation, genomics, AI, quantum computing, 3D printing, that kind of thing. And you're going to think ARC, same basic model, right? A focus on technology, innovation, and companies that have yet to break out, at least from a price standpoint.
Sure.
There are some, familiars there. Fuel cell, Plug Power, space, work, Slack.
Space is on my list.
Yeah. So if you're looking for an accessible way to invest in the future, as cheesy as that sounds, and you don't want to pay the same premium you pay via an ARK Invest ETF, although obviously we're huge fans of Cathie Woods. Of course. She is a god, and all her ETFs are a goddess, have obviously outperformed. Well, God to me kind of like is almost like,
can we even say goddess? I mean, I just feel like we could almost get in trouble for that. Everyone,
goddess to me is like a separate, it's like a fantastical creature. Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay,
fair enough.
But this is kind of like a budget version of that ETF, with some slight changes. And I mean, it's being hosted by Direction. They own a lot of good commodities,
and it's new.
ETFs in particular.
It just launched last November.
Yeah, and I mean, it's taken a big correction too.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why we're interested.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so I guess we'll jump into the next one. You just mentioned it, space, SPCE. So this is Virgin Galactic. We'll just go ahead and look at the year on this one. So this is Virgin Galactic, and for those of you who don't know, let me get rid of us so you guys can see the volume on this. So this is Richard Branson's space tourism company, and if you've been following this for a while, this has been going on for a long time, basically trying to get space tourists up. You go up, I think it's like 55, 60 miles, which is the edge of space. It flies up, and when you weightlessness for a little bit and you come back down. And they've had test flights, they've had successful test flights, but the last two were delayed. And so what ended up happening was, as you can see, it dropped quite a bit. Those of you who follow the show, I told you I'm selling my space because it's going to drop. Every time there's a cancellation, it drops. Back in December, right here, this was the last cancellation. It dropped. It just happened to plummet along with a lot of other tech stocks. The next test flight is scheduled for May. So we're kind of still far away from there. You can see it routed a little bit and it pulled back along with the rest of the, techie / non-fundamental driven by the sense that they have no freaking revenue and they're just burning cash. But I just feel like, I just feel like it's at the bottom.
To be fair.
Yeah. I feel like it's at the bottom. The next test flight, they got plenty of time. Like they're giving themselves like 2.5 months. The last time they gave themselves, I think like a couple weeks or so, a few weeks before they like, we're going to suspend it until then. Plenty of time. I hope the test flight goes well. Cause after that one, Richard Branson's going up. So once this test flight is done, they're like, okay, Richard Branson, it's your turn. You're going to be the first like official.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah. So it's really, really important. I just feel like it's at the bottom. It could go down a little bit more, but I expect a really good rebound from here. I actually averaged down in my IRA on this one recently.
I have a really important question.
Sure.
And it's a serious one.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay. Here we go.
Do you think the real Richard Branson puts his life on the line, or do you think it's Richard Branson's favorite clone?
Wow. You got to think, man. I mean, even Elon Musk hasn't gone up in any of his stuff, If Richard Branson really does go up there, think of what this and it's successful.
I think I'm going to have to put all my life savings
Think of
in space.
what this means. Talk about the ultimate gamble. Like if he goes up there and it goes amazing, he comes down, everything's great, boom, the stock's going to explode. If he goes up there, even because the last time the one that canceled in December, the one they just recently canceled, they didn't even go up. The one in December, it went up there and it was supposed to fire the rockets to take it into outer space, and it just never freaking happened. Something happened where the engine shut down and it just glided back to Earth. So even if it does that, the stock's gonna plummet. So but it all
controlled burns are hard to control, I believe.
Well, that's the thing. Once you turn these engines on, you got to be aiming in the right direction, or that's it. Especially when you get out into space. So friction, there's no aerodynamics whatsoever. So the more
here's what I know in regards to space. So I know there are a lot of rich people in the world who thrill seek.
Sure.
Period.
Yeah. Those are the people in line first. So if you actually check out our other show, Because We Said So, I think it was a couple weeks ago, we did an episode where we covered there's supposed to be Space Hotel 2027. It's ready to go. Inflatable Space Hotel, you just fly up and it's got the wheel with the centrifugal force, all that stuff. I mean, that's what they're saying. I don't know. I just feel like this stock is in a prime position to start moving up. If the market's going to rally, it's definitely going to rally with it. We're coming up. I mean, May's not too far, but April's coming up, which means it's coming next month. I just feel like we're in a really good spot for it, which leads us into the other one. I'm not going to go too far into it because we cover this one a lot. It's our favorite, possible 10 bagger, possible 50 bagger stock, SHMP, SHMP. Last Thursday, they stocked their Iowa facility. They already have one in Texas. If you don't know what we're talking about, just watch the Friday show. The one we just posted. We'll record on Friday. It's a Saturday show. But at the same time, the governor, they just revealed their plant. The governor was there. They had a senator that was there. They had, what's his name? What's the gentleman's name from CNBC?
Pete Najarian.
Yeah. So he's there from CNBC. One of his
brothers to talk about options.
Sure. So, I mean, this thing's about, it's starting to get some serious press. I fully expect on Monday something's going to come out of this, hopefully a little bit bigger. Hopefully this guy mentions it. How could he be on the show and not mention it? Seriously, right?
I know. That's what I'm thinking. If he was there. Now, he is a Midwesterner, from what I believe. But there's no coincidence.
Sure. He has
so he's there because he plans on covering it. He's probably bought a ton of stock, and he has the biggest financial news platform at his
fingertips. Yeah, or feet. Sure, whatever.
I wonder that he probably isn't allowed to promote stock that he recently bought or bought at a certain level. I don't know.
Is there a certain time for anyone who's watching the show? We get a lot of some shows. We get a lot of comments. Some shows we don't get many. But if any of you know, is there a specific time that people have to wait? Because I don't know if that's something you can just. I don't know. We'll check it out. So Moon, you already mentioned. We already mentioned space, QuantumScape, and then GameStop. Because of April 19th, we just spoke about it and I keep banging on the desk. It's the champagne banging, folks. But GameStop,
banging very softly, delicately against your palate.
Sure. Those fine bubbles. So
sure, drinks a glass of $80 champagne.
Sure, it's delicious, folks. That's right.
It really is nice and sudsy. Oh, man, I'm gonna go get a bottle right now.
I would say it's like Mr. Bubble, but it's not even close. All right, so GameStop, we just talked about it quite a bit at the beginning of the show. We expect April 19th to be big. There's gonna be, once again, we're not financial advisors. It's not official advice, but there's gonna be a big freaking rally at some point before the 19th. Where it closes, who knows? So that's pretty much all we got. So stocks we like, we just talked about them. Stocks on our radar. Matt, you said travel stocks, which I think is very poignant. So please, your thoughts.
Airbnb, we've talked about this before.
They made an amazing pivot. Really, really nicely done, Airbnb.
Yeah. And look, we talked about the technical setup. We like where the price is. We like its relative position next to Marriott, its big brick and mortar competitor, that big legacy brand.
Yep.
And it has a larger market cap, and
they can operate
I think
anywhere in the world.
Yeah. It's more accessible. It's easy. You don't even need a password to sign into your account. You do it via your SMS, via text through your phone. It's just there are so many boxes that this one checks. That I think if, again, you're investing for the future, and you're looking for good long duration plays, Airbnb is an essential part.
Just came out.
And it's new, and you need exposure to the travel hospitality segment, which still I think has room to rally. It's cyclical. We're entering the travel season right now. If oil kind of stays below that $50-$55 a barrel level, gas might be not as expensive as some people are speculating it will become in the summer. That's good for travel.
Depends. That stupid shit that's stuck in the Suez Canal is blocking a lot of oil from getting out also.
Yeah.
Just saying.
They still haven't gotten that out, I don't think.
No. They're saying it could take a couple of weeks. We're going to talk about it on the show on Because We Said So. I have a friend who thinks it's purposeful. So,
yeah. Interesting.
Talk about a way to hold the world hostage, folks. Sorry, this is a sidebar, but good Lord, man, that's just such.
It kind of makes sense.
It does.
No one just gets. There's a computer-driven.
I'm gonna put this picture, and there's a picture of a backhoe trying to dig around this thing right up against the dude. It's like the dwarfism that this massive 700 or whatever backhoe. Anyway, sorry, I digress. And you were saying actual travel season. Bro, people have been waiting to travel for over a year. Travel season, my ass, dude. We're talking about people, travel is going to be insane right now. The question is, where does it kick in? Which sectors? Airlines for sure. Hotels? Sure, maybe. Cruises? That's...
And Airbnb also has their events.
Yeah.
Kind of
events?
angle. And...
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar. Please.
So you can host events via, you have to obviously get approved to do so.
Oh, so you can host events at, that's interesting. Yeah. So if you own a big place, you could Airbnb your place for people to host events. That's interesting. I didn't know that, man.
Yeah. And or you can actually advertise events that you're hosting off premise.
Sure.
Too, which is interesting. So this is just one of those monetization platforms that offers anyone with ideas a chance to, have supplemental income.
Sure.
And it's from the other side, from the buyer side, it's accessibility. It's competitive price points too. I mean, you can get a pretty good room for half the price of, a nice stay at a Marriott.
Absolutely.
Right? So all the ingredients are there. I would buy this on the way down and on the way up.
Sure. Well, what do I got? I mean, so it opened up at 121. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It opened up at 145. The low is 121. It's at 174. The high is about 217. It's definitely stable. I'll give it that. But with where we are now, I'm with you. I think this is definitely one to look at to explode. 100%. Yeah. All right, airline stocks, definitely. If you're going to travel, you got to get on an airline. That's for sure. So I can say Delta is more stable. I can say American is more risky. They have a lot more debt between the two of those. Same thing with Carnival and Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean, more stable.
Cruise stocks, yeah.
They're a lot closer to their all-time highs than Carnival. Carnival is actually, a lot further away. But once again, I think Saudi Arabia bought man, the one thing I miss about this show, so our other show, Because We Said So, my brother is, we have 4 cameras. My brother's a research guy. So I'm like, could you look this up? Yeah, Research Lucas. So actually, can I pull
Do you have a soundbite?
Yeah, here we go.
Research Lucas.
So I have all the sound effects here. I have 2 different
He's
pages.
actually making fun of his brother.
But anyway, he's, he does all the research in a situation like this. Yeah, it'd be nice to have him look some stuff up. But Carnival, I'm pretty sure like Saudi Arabia or a company in Saudi Arabia did a major investment in Carnival to keep them afloat. But there are two other options as well. So, all right. So
here's what I think. So
sure.
I think that prices were so suppressed for so long that now that we're reopening, a lot of travelers are buying a lot of tickets and booking a lot of flights and cruises in anticipation of that price hike when things normalize.
That's true.
And I think that's going to reflect in earnings.
That makes sense. Because, yeah, I mean, if you could prepay for some stuff just to get it at a lower rate, and then all of a sudden stuff is booked. That's the thing. If people prepay and stuff is booked, you can charge more for those remaining seats. That's exactly what happens with the airlines.
Yeah, that too.
Wow.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, any predictions for the week? Tech stocks, the VIX, all right. So here we go. We do it every Sunday. VIX, up or down on Monday?
So we had a crazy end of day rally.
I know Mondays are always up.
Friday.
But
I think the VIX spikes and then collapses on Monday.
Okay. We like that.
How about that?
All right, we'll take it.
That gives me some wiggle room.
Sure. Sure.
In what order?
Yeah. I think Monday, I mean, safe to say that Mondays are generally going to be up. Safe to say Fridays are generally going to be down. That's fine. For the week, I really do expect things to start moving up. I think we've had enough choppiness. The post-expiration dip happened, like you said, shook out the bears. It was pretty rough. Like it was rough. But I think next week we start moving up and we actually end up higher. This week we ended up lower overall. I think next week we end up higher for sure. And with the Russell where it is, the indicators that you had mentioned on the Friday show, I think is a good possibility that we could see a pretty big rally in the micros and hopefully shrimp pops, man. I'm just waiting for shrimp to get that one piece of like.
I know shrimp is going to pop,
dude. You just need that one. Like if you look it up on StockTwits, not a lot of people know about it. It's just there's not a lot of volume. When the stock market dips a lot, it doesn't dip that much. And your reasoning was not a lot of people know about it, not a lot of trading. So as soon as people find out about this, it's gonna be pretty big. It can get on the NASDAQ. We can start doing some options action. Like I just can't wait. We'll see how it goes. All right. So any last minute thoughts?
Mind the Russell. And if you're looking for a leading indicator that leads that leading indicator, look at the transports ETF.
Sure.
It says a lot.
And that's the ITW, was it?
Or IYT.
IYT. There we go. At the IYT.
Yeah, that's the smaller one. There's a larger one. That's the one I like to look at.
Sure. All right. Well, please leave us a comments with your thoughts. If you haven't already, please spank the like button, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your enemies. Why not? It's a champagne talking. Champagne talking, folks. So check out our other show, once again, Because We Said So. It is basically, we just talk about what's going on in the world. It's a little bit more risque. It's a longer show. We start out with the news and we talk about some more fun stuff. It's a really, really fun show.
It is. It's a good car ride.
It's a great car ride. So it's on video, but we get most of our listens. We get most of our views or whatever downloads on the audio side. It's a great show. We keep this one just for video, which is fine with me. But anyway, I'll put a link to that show below. Thanks for watching. And we will see you guys this week. We appreciate it. Wednesday. Boom.